Okay, so today Jeff and I are out kayaking. It's our 45th wedding anniversary weekend. And we're kayaking. And every time we get in this kayak, I'm paddling actually as I'm talking, just saying. And every time we get in this kayak, we learn a lot of lessons about marriage because verbal communication and how important it is. So last time we were kayaking, Jeff was in back and I was in front, and we always do that. I think it's because he likes to watch me, make sure I'm there, I haven't fallen in or something. Yeah, I am a little childlike sometimes. Anyway, so he's in front of me this time, and I'm just figuring that surely I can follow him if I'm behind. Because I tell him every time we kayak that, you know, I can't follow you if you're behind me. You've got to be in front of me for me to be able to follow you. Well, so this time I put him in the front. I mean, like, it took a lot of discussion, may I say, because he'd rather me be in the front. But he's in the front, and so I'm thinking I can follow him. Well, guess what? I still can't follow him. Why? Because he uses muscle, and he digs deep in the water, and he's moving us out. And guess what? He's erratic. Now, he might not like if I said that, right, Jeff?
You're really not erratic.
You think you're not erratic, but he's a bit erratic. He goes at the water in such a way of, I need to do this, this, and this without a plan. And I think that's a big thing whenever we get married and we have kids and we're off into life. You know, you don't just have to plan what kind of career you want. You got to plan what you want in life. And if you don't plan, how are you going to get there? Think about a vacation. If you don't know where you're going, how you'll get there, where you'll stay, what you'll do, then first of all, you're not looking forward to the vacation. And when you go on vacation, you're gonna not find a place to stay. I remember years ago, before the internet, we were headed off. I think we were in Missouri. Is that right, hon?
Yep.
We were headed off into Missouri. There was no internet. We had not booked where we were going to stay because, you know, we really didn't know when we would be where. So it was late at night. We had all three of our kids. And guess what? We couldn't find a place to stay. It was nearing midnight. We were exhausted from driving all day, and we could not find a place to stay. And I'm like, why was I telling you that? Oh, yeah, because you want to plan your life. You want to communicate, talk about your life, figure out where you're going and how you'll get there. So back to kayaking, which we're doing right this minute, out in the water, out in the middle of the lake. And I'm actually using my paddle too. You know, what I learn every time we do this is that we do things differently. Not only because he's male and I'm female, he's stronger than me, but because we think differently. He is a person who takes care of things the minute they happen. That means if I ask him to do something, he'll stop and he'll do it right now. But you know what? What, honey?
That way I don't forget.
That way you don't forget. That's right. Well, I don't do that because if I stopped and did it that minute, then I would not get back to what I was doing. It would interrupt my thought. And so I don't do things that way. You know, the cell phone is a big one these days. And it's a challenge for a lot of couples because we were sitting eating lunch in our camper just a little bit ago, and my cell phone started dinging. I did have it turned down so that I didn't even hear it, and I could go back to it whenever I decided to go back to it. But it's dinging, and we're eating our breakfast, and, you know, I did have that feeling of, gosh, I should check that. But you know what? We're eating breakfast, we're talking, having time together, and I'm not going to go check that cell phone. But when you have the cell phone near you, and my wonderful husband has the phone near him, and it's dinging, he can't help it. It's like calling his name. Someone needs him. Somebody needs his attention. And he wants to pick up that cell phone. And, you know, I've been using this a lot lately. When we say yes to one thing, we say no to the other. So when he picks up that cell phone, he's saying yes to whoever or whatever is dinging on his phone, and he's saying no to me. And, you know, that's how a lot of spouses feel. And they feel that way. Sometimes it's the kids are grabbing all the attention. Too many activities are grabbing all the attention. our business or our work is grabbing all the attention. For some people, it's charities and groups they're involved in, and they're keeping up with that. Well, there's a time for everything. There might be a special event going on, and it grabs your attention for a small amount of time, but not typically all the time. And so, back to kayaking. As we kayak, and he uses his strength, I have to use my I don't want to say, like, it's not smarter, it's like I have to be smarter, thoughtful. I have to have a plan because I don't have that same kind of strength. But when he's, quote, erratically paddling without any verbal communication, I can't follow him, and that makes me grumble at him. And you're not going to hear that here, but a little while ago, usually we fuss a little, we whine a little, and then we laugh. Why? Because we use a sense of humor, because we both have one. Sometimes people don't have a sense of humor. Lighten up. Life is hard. If you can't laugh at yourself or laugh at the silly, crazy things of the world, laugh at the silly, stupid things your kids do, then what is there? And it's hard to enjoy life. And that takes me to, one of my top motivators, whenever I teach about the motivators, things that motivate people to do what they do, why they do them, one of mine is, it's called fun and pleasure. And guess what? I don't like to be around gripey, grumpy people. I don't like to be around people who snap at me with a bad attitude and that kind of thing. They're not any fun. They are, what do you call that, honey? Something in the mud.
Stick in the mud.
They are a stick in the mud. I don't know if you can hear Jeff, but he's definitely here giving me help whenever I need it. Anyway, they're a stick in the mud. So if you're a stick in the mud and you never laugh, you need to get over it and move on. Lighten up and have some fun in life. Anyway, so here we are kayaking, and I'm sure I'll have another thought. But that's enough for today, and all I say is cherish your spouse. Enjoy your spouse. Have some fun. Find things you have in common. This is Connie with the Extraordinary Marriage Podcast. Yes, Jeff and Connie Durham. Thanks for listening.